Imagine a basketball bouncing, or a tennis ball hitting the court. Why do they go up and down? What invisible forces are at play? In this video, we'll uncover the fundamental physics behind a bouncing ball. You'll explore gravity, air resistance, and the amazing dance between potential and kinetic energy. We'll also delve into momentum, impulse, and the difference between elastic and inelastic collisions. Our journey starts with the ball falling, then its impact with the ground, and finally, why no ball bounces forever. Let's begin with the ball in free fall. As it drops, gravity pulls it downwards, constantly increasing its speed. We can visualize this as a growing velocity vector. That downward arrow represents the force of gravity. At its highest point, the ball possesses maximum gravitational potential energy, ready to be converted. As it falls, this potential energy transforms into kinetic energy, the energy of motion. Watch as the potential energy bar shrinks, and the kinetic energy bar grows, reflecting this continuous conversion. So, at what exact moment is the ball's kinetic energy highest? Just before it hits the ground? Now for the exciting part, the bounce. When the ball strikes the ground, it's a dynamic collision. The ball momentarily deforms, storing energy like a spring, then reforms, pushing off the surface. During this impact, the ball's momentum, a product of its mass and velocity, changes dramatically. It reverses direction. This change in momentum is called impulse, a crucial concept in collisions. But are all collisions the same? Not at all. We distinguish between elastic and inelastic collisions. In a perfectly elastic collision, kinetic energy is conserved. Imagine a superball bouncing almost to its initial height. However, most real-world bounces are inelastic. Here, some kinetic energy is lost, usually as heat, sound, or deformation. See how this regular ball loses significant height, with energy visibly escaping as sound waves and heat. We use something called the coefficient of restitution to quantify just how elastic or inelastic a collision is. As the ball rises after impact, kinetic energy is again converted into potential energy. But notice, it rarely reaches its initial height. Why? Because some energy was lost during the collision itself. You can see the kinetic energy bar shrinking as potential energy grows. But the peak is lower than the start. Many factors influence how high a ball bounces. First, the initial drop height, giving it more potential energy to begin with. The ball's material is key. A rubber ball behaves differently than a clay one due to varying elasticity. The surface it hits also matters. Concrete provides a different bounce than a soft sandpit. And over time, air resistance constantly works against the ball, gradually stealing its energy with each bounce. Let's look at a simple example. If a ball drops from 2 meters, it has 19.6 joules of potential energy. Just before impact, this is almost all kinetic energy. If it only bounces back to 1.5 meters, its new potential energy is 14.7 joules, showing a 4.9 joule loss during the bounce. We've journeyed through the dynamic physics of a bouncing ball. It's a beautiful dance involving gravity, the interplay of potential and kinetic energy, momentum, and the fascinating nature of collisions. Remember, while total energy in a system is always conserved, kinetic energy often transforms into other forms like heat or sound during a bounce. This is why no ball bounces forever. Energy is always dissipated, little by little. Understanding these principles helps us design better sports equipment and appreciate the physics in our everyday world. Now, what other everyday phenomena can you think of that involve such captivating energy transformations?